All right, good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. How's everybody doing this morning? Everybody's good? Good, good. Okay, so last week we were talking about walking in obedience, and we had a lively conversation about what that looks like and how obedience manifests itself in our lives. We talked about, Noah and Abraham and things of that nature. And so as we finish that up, I wanted to ask you, what are the things that sometimes can stop us from being obedient? What stops us sometimes? I mean, we know what we've been asked to do. We know what we've been commanded to do. We know what we're expected to do. What is it that stops us from doing that? Fear of rejection, okay? Is that Ruth Calvin that said that? I'm talking for the recording. So that was Ruth Calvin that said fear of rejection sometimes can stop us from being obedient. What else? Don't remember. Okay, what's your name? Vincent. All right, Vincent. Sometimes it gets away from you, right? You got a bunch of things going on and it just, life happens, right? Okay. What else? What else stops us from being? Yes, I see your hand. What's your name? Tony Evans. Well, that's a famous name. Yeah. Oh, there you go. He took it from you. Okay. All right. Yes, Miss Tony Evans. What else stops us? That's right. Got it. So for those of you listening, what Tony Evans says is that sometimes we don't want to change, right? We don't want to get out of our comfort zone, right? We're comfortable. Like, I don't want to start doing all of that. I mean, I'm in a groove, right? Because we're creatures of what? Habit, right? And so it's really hard to change what we're doing if we've gotten to that little groove where this is comfortable. I know how this works. I know what time I need to get up. I know what time I need to leave the house. I know what time that I put me at work. I know what time I get my first break. I know what time I go to lunch. I know what time to start packing up. I know what time to start to leave. I know what time. Now you want to throw something else in there, right? So that is a big one sometimes, right? We're comfortable, okay? What else? What else can stop us from being obedient? Yes, what's your name? Sitting next to Vincent. Yes, Carol. Somebody else will do it. Right. That's a big one. So especially sometimes when it comes to talking to people, to sharing the story, right? Because, I mean, isn't that what we pay Terry for? Right? He'll just do it. As if Terry's going to come to your job and talk to all your coworkers, and then come to your family reunion and talk to all your family, and then come to your neighborhood and talk to all your like, he can't do that for all of us, right? And so sometimes I think we think someone else is just going to do it. Now, what's the problem with that, though? Who's supposed to do it? Every single one of us. So Terry can't do mine because Terry's doing his, right? Now, I can't do yours, just like you can't do mine. And Carol, you can't do Vincent. Vincent, you can't do Carol's. You got your own to do, right? All right, that's a good one. Someone else to do it. What else? What stops us from being obedient? Oh, the fear of missing out. Oh, FOMO. And so if you're off being obedient, then that means you can't be doing X, Y, and Z, right? And we're gonna. What was your name, ma'am? Oh, that's Patty. Okay, Patty. Patty says that one of the things that can keep us from being obedient is the fear of missing out. We don't want to miss out on some fun or some big thing. Or, man, if I start really being obedient and I start living my life a certain way, they'll stop inviting me to stuff. And then I won't get to go to the shindig where everyone's going to be. And then they won't invite me to the Super Bowl party because they say I'm a damper on the Super Bowl party because I don't drink and I don't smoke and I don't curse and I don't bet. And so then what's the point of you coming to the Super Bowl party? But everybody I know is going to be at the Super Bowl party, and I'm not going to get invited because they feel like I'm going to ruin the whole thing. Right? Thank you, Jay. Because at Jay's house, you can drink and smoke and curse. No, I'm just kidding. But it's an option. But it's not mandatory. Right. That's right. No judgment. No judgment. So sometimes we do. We have the Bible describes us as a peculiar people, but how many of us really get up in the morning trying to be peculiar? Right? Like no one's trying to not fit in, right? Because if you're not fitting in, then it goes back to what Miss Tony Evans says. You're now outside of your comfort zone. And if you're not fitting in, if you're out there on an island by yourself, that makes you a pretty easy target, right? You can get picked off out there, right? Because there's strength in what? That's what we think, right? And so look, if I'm in there, it's going to be hard for you to hit me if I'm in the middle of 1,000 people. But if I'm out there on some ledge by myself, right, talking about do this and do that, and God did this and did that, I'm easy to hit. I don't really want all that. I'm just going to stay over here, right? I'm just going to stay right here. It's like Hitch, right? Just stay right in here, right? Don't get to doing all the funny dances. Just stay right in here. And so sometimes that will stop us. Is there anything else that stops us from being obedient? Yes, Miss Tony Evans. Did I see your hand, Anya? I'm coming to you. Yes? Okay, yes, Miss Tony Evans. Right. So there's one. So Miss Tony Evans says that sometimes we have a lack of confidence, right? And we don't know what to say, right? We don't feel like we have enough information. We don't feel like if anyone pushes back, then I don't know. Look, I told you everything I knew the first time. Don't ask me any questions, all right? And so yeah, that's another one, right? A lack of confidence in being able to tell someone the story or to be able to give someone a reason for our faith, right? I mean, seriously, you ain't never seen Jesus. How you believe that? I don't. And you just run off, right? And so that's a huge one. Yes, Anya, did you have your hand up? Yeah, so what stops us from being obedient sometimes? What are some of the things that even though we know what to do, what we should do, what we've been commanded to do, what we're expected to do, why don't we do it? Rejection. There's another one. So I'm going to come to someone and tell them the story of Jesus, and they're going to laugh at me. They're going to make fun of me. Like, you can't believe that. I mean, all this time I thought you were smart. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So let me make sure I get this right. You believe that somebody came from heaven and got born without a father, and then there was God and a person at the same time, and then lived perfectly, and they killed him, but he didn't stay dead, and then he got up, and he went back, and he's still sitting there. Is that seriously what you believe? Well, that's hard. I mean, if you put it like that, like, okay, maybe not, And so rejection is a real thing, right? Yes. What's your name, ma'am? There's Sarita Hamilton, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the woman God gave me right there, that one back there. Just pray for me. Yes. Mm-hmm. Ooh, oh, that hurts right there. That's a gut punch right there. You went right. And so yeah, it's a man, this thing is, we've been conditioned to want the wrong people's acceptance. right? And so I will offend God, put Jesus back on the cross so that my neighbor thinks I'm a cool guy. Right? And if man, I try not to think about that because that, like, how small does that make me? Like, I'm more concerned about this knucklehead at work, so I'm gonna forego and forget everything that Jesus did for me. I get you choked up if you think about that too long. Anything else? Stops us from being obedient. Yes. What's your name? Oh, that was you, Carol? See, I saw someone else's hand and I heard your voice. All right, so we'll go to you, Carol, and then we'll go to your neighbor behind you. Yes. Okay. You don't even know what she said. You just, no habla inglés.
You're right.
Right. I say that too when people ask me something that I don't want to talk about. No habla inglés.
But
Right.
I kept going. I said, Jesus, I know.
Right. Are you going to use all your Spanish?
I'm
Jesus
trying.
and Cristo and okay.
I was
Right.
trying.
Julio Iglesias, you saying all the, yeah.
And then she just dismissed me.
Right.
I'll pray for you.
That's right. Or you know what I'll do is I'll come to the building and I'll get some Spanish literature and I'll come back.
Well, I did
right?
have those little cards.
Oh, good.
The QR code
Okay.
cards and all. So
Fantastic. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Right? And you can, listen, at the end of the day, you're not rejecting me. Right? Like it's not me. Right? Like ultimately, it's not me. Right? I mean, just think about every time we go to a restaurant, right? Do you accept everything that the waitress offers you? Right? Do you want any appetizers? No, thank you. That waitress don't go and run out in the middle of traffic. You didn't reject the waitress. You just don't want an appetizer, right? Well, can I get you anything to drink other than water? No, ma'am, I'm drinking water. That she don't start crying, right? I can't believe it. It want a soda. No, I'm not. That has nothing to do with her, right? Oh, can I get you guys any dessert? No, thank you. I don't want any dessert. Oh. No, it's not personal. I just don't want any dessert, right? It's not personal, right? Look, you just don't want to go to heaven and be saved and have eternal life. Okay, right? Like, I'm not going to feel too bad about that. I gave it to you, right? If you don't want the gift, I can't make you take it, right? But I loved you enough to tell you. Now, what you do with it, I offered it to you. I ain't going to force it down your throat, right? Because if I got to force you to take it, I'm going to have to force you to keep it. I'm not signing up for that job, okay? All right? Yes, what's your name? Delilah, yes. It does. It's hard. That's right. And so, look, we talked about this last week, right? Someone said, I think it might have been Billy, he's like, this stuff, it's not easy, right? And sometimes if we're not careful, there's a brother sitting over here, we talk about it as if it's easy, right? And so what I think about that is it's easy in this sense that it's something that you can do, right? Like if in order to be obedient, you had to be able to climb the roof of a 100-foot building, jump off and fly, well, man, that's I don't know, I can't do that, right? So it's not that it's something that you can't do. It's just telling, it's living a certain way and telling people what Jesus did for them. The problem is, it's probably even easier not to do. I'm just not gonna worry about it. I mean, who gonna know, right? Who gonna know? And I ain't talking to nobody about Jesus today, right? Jesus is gonna know. But and so that is true. It's this, again, we've got to make it a habit because that's what we're creatures of. And so again, if you get up every day knowing that, hey, I'm gonna tell two people this story today. I'm gonna tell two people this story today. I'm gonna tell two people this story today. Man, after a while, now some people say it takes 7 days, some people say it takes 21 days to change a habit, But I will tell you, if you started tomorrow, which is February 3rd, maybe by February 24th, you'd have it down. Like, man, you know what? This telling two people a day thing really isn't that difficult, right? It took me all of 30 seconds, right? Like I just told them, like you will not believe what happened yesterday. I heard this amazing lesson about leaving it in the garage and being a Proverbs woman and blah, blah, blah. And it just reminded me what God did for me. And he loved me so much that he sent his son, who loved me so much that he gave his life, who loved me so much that he gave his blood, that opened his church and forgave us. It was just, oh, what a fantastic day. How long did that take? Man, I don't care what you do with that information. Now, I want you to accept it. It's not that I don't care. I do care. But it's not going to ruin my day. Number one, because I got to go tell somebody else. I still got another person I got to get it to, right? And so what we have to do is we have to, sometimes we get too worried about the results. Forget the results, right? Get married to the process. Divorce yourself from the results. Because the results aren't yours. That's not yours to control. I can control how many people I talk to. I can't control what they do with it, right? So I'm going to work on what I can control, right? I don't have to pass that person at the gas station. Like we both standing there pumping gas. He can't leave, right? He's got the thing in his car. He ain't leaving, no matter what I say, right? Hey, nice car, bro. Is that new? Man, God has blessed you. Man, you have a relationship with Jesus? No, I looked at your whole setup and I was just thinking, man, that's got to be a God-fearing guy. Because you know God loved us so much, he gave us his son, who loved us so much that he gave us his life, who loved us so much that he gave us his blood. And with that blood, we got remission of sins in his church. And man, he's coming back for that church that he gave us. Man, what a phenomenal day. Hey, have a great day, bro. I know how much my gas going to cost. I can wait. Let's say my gas going to be $50. I'm not even going to start that conversation until my tank gets to 30. I got to leave in 30 seconds because my tank going to cut off, right? I'm not trying to be standing here talking to you all day, right? If I time it right, as soon as I say what an amazing God we have, my thing is going to stop. I'm going to put my thing in, get my receipt. Bro, have a great day. Now, he like, what just happened? Right? Man, have fun with it. Like, have fun with the number of ways you can tell the story. How quickly can you get it in, right? How many different ways can you share it with somebody? Man, that's not going to ruin my day that guy didn't ask me, hey, can you take me over to that pool and baptize me right now? That's not going to ruin my day that didn't happen, right? I'm God's foot soldier. I got to get it in. And if I don't get it in, no one else is coming to do it, right? All right? Delilah, I like that point. Great point. What else stops us from being obedient? No one has said this one yet, but if we have a list of things that stop us from being obedient, what do you think is number one on that list? Huh? Who said it? Number one on the list is you. That's why you ain't doing it. Now, it may be your fear of rejection. It may be your lack of confidence, right? Or not wanting to get out of your comfort zone. It may be that it's difficult. It may be that you don't feel like you have all the words. It may be that you're really busy. It may be that you can't speak the language of the people that you are in contact with every day. But ultimately, let's not get this twisted. The number one reason that we are not obedient is the person you see when you're standing in the mirror. And that's just how that goes. Now, we could dance around it, right? We could call it something else, right? But it goes back, all these walks are connected, right? The reason we have difficulty with the obedience step is because we ultimately have difficulty with the faith step. Right? Anybody that knows me, there's a couple things you know, right? That are outside of what we're talking about now. One of the things is, for better or for worse, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. It's just, you gonna get that. If you are around me and a conversation turns to anything about you getting it. Cowboys be 0-16, you still gonna get it. Cowboys be 16-0, you still gonna get it. You getting it, cause that's what you get from me. Cause that's how I roll, right? And so sometimes we gotta add to how we roll, right? Yes. This is Angela Jenkins that is about to speak for you all listening. Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
I'm trying to catch up from last week.
Okay.
I believe there was a gentleman.
Yes, the one sitting up front?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Romans 7:18
Mm-hmm.
it says, I desire to do good, but I don't.
Absolutely.
And when I do things,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a constant struggle.
That's right.
And I was just going to say, this every day
That's right.
with what I want to do, my obedience to God,
That's right.
and work on it every single day. My maintenance, cares for others, and just do what I need to do in order to get through that day, to do the right
That's
thing
right. That's right.
for God.
Because, and that's a great point, Angela Jenkins is talking about how we have to be intentional, because it doesn't happen by itself, right? Because back to Delilah's point, because it's difficult, right? It's not comfortable yet, right? It's not second nature yet, right? And so if you know, for those of you who boat, those of you who are out on the water, like if you just get out, if you just go out a little bit from the shore and don't do anything, just you're not intentional about what happens for the next 30 or 40 minutes. You know what happens? After a while, you can't see the shore. You don't even know what happened, right? You just drifted. And so sometimes Sunday morning we're locked in. Like we've heard a great lesson, like we heard this morning, like we're energized and then you walk out of here. And then you go to lunch. And you go home, turn on the TV, and you take a nap. You start worrying about tomorrow. And now it's Monday and you can't see the shore that you just left here with on Sunday. And so it's absolutely true that you've got to be intentional about all that we do, because none of it just happens, right? I guess we could just hope that 1,000 people from the neighborhood walk in here next Sunday morning. And that's possible. That is not probable. That's not how that's going to happen. If 1,000 people come in here next Sunday morning, it's because somebody in here invited them. That's how that works. And so if all of us are silent from the time we walk out of here to the time we come back in here, guess how many new people are going to be in here Sunday morning? 0. It's not a trick question. 0. And so those are your numbers. Right? And so, you know, if you had a little graph, you say, hey, today is Monday. How many people did I talk to? Right? So I call you up and I say, hey, Patty, how many people you talked to today? No, well, see, the thing is, I can't write all that. I got a box. The only thing that fits in that box is a number. I just need your number. How many people you talked to? Well, see, I got a late start. And I got this little box, and the only thing that fits in it is a number. What's your number? 0. Let me write that. Okay, now what's the story? Right? Some of us, a lot of us, just keep racking up zeros. No, there's no way. There's no way this place grows if all of us are racking up zeros. If all of our charts from Monday to Saturday have zeros in it, the best we can hope for is that there will be the same number of people in here next Sunday. There can't be more people, and there's probably going to be less. And then it's going to be less the Sunday after that. And then it's going to be less the Sunday after that. And then it's going to be less the Sunday after that. And pretty soon the only people in here are the ministers and the elders. People, we got to start racking up some numbers. Right? And I promise you, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to me. I got to start racking up some numbers. I can't keep having goose eggs. If you're sitting on a roll where the same 4 people have been on that roll for the entirety of 2024, that's a bunch of zeros. Like, ain't nobody brought nobody. We're gonna have trouble at the gate. We're gonna have trouble at the gate. I mean, I gave you this gift in 1978. You lived until 2028. You told 2 people. I think we're gonna have trouble at the gate. I don't want to take that chance. No, God, I told everybody. Now nobody did it, but you saw me. I told them. We got to get our numbers up. Got to get our numbers up, and the numbers don't got to be perfect. They just got to be numbers. It just can't be a 0. To tell somebody, boy, that was inartful. But that's okay. Guess what? I get to write a 1. Right? The next time it won't be as inartful. A couple weeks, they're gonna be great. A month from now, you think they're works of art. 2 months, you're going to be thinking you should be up there preaching. I mean, that's how confidence works, right? You begin to build and build and build, and you're able to share in a way that makes sense. All right? So, anything else on obedience? Anything else that stops us? You scratching your head or you raise your hand? You're doing both, aren't you? Yes, go ahead, Anya. Mm-hmm. That's right. It's not optional. Right? It's not the appetizer. That's right. That's right. The importance is you don't have to be able to teach in order to tell. Teaching is something completely different. You don't have to do this, what I'm walking around doing, to tell somebody. Telling somebody. We've all told somebody something, right? In the entirety of our lives, we've told somebody about something, and passionately. You went to a good restaurant. You saw a good movie. You heard a good sermon. You heard a great song. You bought a great outfit. And what did you do? You ran and told. Oh my God. Have you ever been to such and such? Listen, the banana pudding it will change your life. Well, how can I run and tell people about that and not tell them about something that will actually change their life? Right? Gino, I'm coming to you. I saw Ruth's hand first. Yes, Ruth Calvin.
You know, if we're supposed to plant the seed.
Mm-hmm.
Where we plant the seed. I planted the seed in a young man about 40 years ago on a train going to Rhode Island. Now, he promised me that he would go to a church of Christ. We went through what to look for. He promised me. For all I know, he could have been visiting here one day. I don't know how many seeds he's planted.
That's right.
The same thing with my niece when she was down here. She was baptized. Her whole family. So we plant the seed and where it's taking root, we don't know. And I often wonder though about that young man.
That's right.
For some reason, it keeps coming to mind. He said his spirit was weak, and I was doing some studying in the lounge car. And we were studying, so we got to talk about the church and everything. Sometimes I just keep wondering about him in particular, and I don't even know.
Right. But that's a great thing. And see, the thing is that sometimes you can set up where someone has to ask you what you're doing. Right? I don't know if that was Ruth's plan, but Ruth is set up in a way that, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I cannot believe. Now, if you bad enough to ask me what I'm doing, I better be bad enough to tell you. What I'm doing is I'm reading my Bible. Have you ever done this? Let me give you the Cliff Notes. God so loved the world, he gave us his son, who so loved us, he gave us his life, who so loved that in dying, he gave us his blood, which is good for the remission of my sins, with which he purchased his church. He's going to fill it only to come back and get it and present it to his Father. That's what I'm doing. Right? Yes, sir, Gino. That's right. That's right. That's right. Absolutely. And it is, like you said, it's a daily discipline, right? It's an everyday thing. And so, and the beauty of it is, man, the slate gets cleaned, right? You may have a day where I just wasn't that good today. Day wasn't my best. But guess what? The sun gonna go down. And the beauty of it is, up until this point, when the sun goes down, it comes back up. And man, it comes back up. I get a new chance. I get to do it all over again. And I may not be any better. I may be worse, right? I just got to get the sun down. And if that sun comes up, I get to try it again. But that's what happens, right? And so if any of us who have played a sport, any of us who have had any discipline in terms of a transformation of your body and lifting weights, and that body don't change that first day. It don't change the second day. You can't see anything the third day. That's not the point. The point is, what you're doing, though, is you're setting yourself up for future success. It may take 6 weeks. It may take 12 weeks. It may take 6 months. But all of a sudden, that scrawny 5'11", 140-pound kid is now 5'11", 160-pound strapping young man. And it looks different. And because he looks different, he feels different. And because he feels different, he talks different. And because he talks different, he's received different. He's a completely different person. But it started with that first day in the gym when he didn't know what he was doing, but he just did it because someone told him to do it. And he did it again, and he did it again, and he did it again. And now he's the person that people look to as the example of how you should live your life. All of us are that close. So we're one decision away from being that person. Just decide, right? If you have, listen, 3 birds are sitting on the ledge, right? 2 of them decide to fly away. How many birds are still on the ledge? Not a trick question. How many birds still on the same ledge? Huh? No, 3. Deciding to fly ain't the thing. Flying is the thing, right? Get off your duff, right? Just because you decide to do it, it only counts if you do it. It only counts if you do it. I'm just saying, commit to tomorrow not having a 0. Tell somebody. It ain't got to be great, right? Do it at a light. Wait till the turn light is green. The turn light turns yellow, so you know your light's about to turn green. Roll your window down and say, God loves you, gave his son Jesus, and roll your window back up and just do it that way. And drive fast so they can't catch you. They don't know who you are. But you put a 1 down. Put a 1 down. You got a 1. That had no chance for success, but you know what? You did it. Right? And that sounds ridiculous. But sometimes you just got to get one in, right? Steph Curry may be the greatest shooter in the history of the game. It all started with him taking that first shot. Everybody took their first shot. Why is it that he's the only one that shoots like that? Because he kept shooting, kept shooting, kept shooting. I was asleep, he was shooting. You were asleep, he was shooting. Everybody was asleep, he was shooting. Keep shooting your shot. Like, this thing is critical. Like, in a world that looks like ours, man, tell somebody some good news. They need it. I don't care what they tell you. They need some good news. Yes. Was that Patty Brown? Yes. Hmm? I mean, one of y'all got to go. Y'all just can't be. Hmm? Yeah, it is. It's like Terry says all the time, faith it's an action thing, right? Our Christianity is an action sport. It's not a spectator sport, right? And some of us, if you're not careful, you'll start spectating because these are nice seats. So you come in, you sit in a nice seat, and you look. Man, boy, preacher was good today, wasn't he? Boy, that preacher was good. And you walk right out the door and don't do nothing else. You come back next week and sit down and you look again. Woo! Boy, that preacher, man. No, man. This ain't a spectator sport. Like, you got a role to play. Patty, and I see you, Goom, I'm coming. Mm-hmm.
Struggle with that because everybody
Mm-hmm. Is that was that like your humble brag way of telling us that you're the big boss? No. Oh, okay. All right. You know everybody at your house you supervise too. Right. I always have to tell her, I don't work at the school board. Like, you're not the boss of me, right? She'd be walking in, get up, time to go. Let's go with the.
Anyway,
I'm sorry, my bad. I digress.
think about what Ruth had said about planting the seed. And I was thrown yesterday. We were at a work event, and I had to address somebody at work. It was a behind closed doors, not professional, funny, blah, blah, but, you know, I really needed to observe that. And I wasn't sure how it was received. And clearly went out and because I started noticing, you know, somebody would say something, they were like, oh, you know, don't say that, or, you know, Patty doesn't like that. I'm like, oh, God. But yesterday it struck me that two people were like, we need to talk to you. We need to talk to you. They said, so we were trying to do better. We want to do better. And would you be okay doing a Bible study?
Praise
with
God.
us? And I was like,
Praise
oh
God.
my. And then one person started saying that they were struggling with going to church because they weren't getting anything out of a 3-hour service with the preacher screaming, and then came the question, where do you go?
Right.
So,
I'm gonna get a 1 in the box. I might get 2 or 3 in the box,
oh my
right?
goodness.
Look at God.
Yes. So, I mean, I did invite them.
Mhm.
I don't one of them are here right now, but I did invite them. I mean, it was late yesterday. But yeah, just the whole, Bible study. I did say, they said, well, maybe it's something you could do every morning. And I did have to, make sure I'm not going to invite you. I'm not going to say, come to my office or let's meet here. Each week or whatever, but I was
Right. And that's and yeah, praise God. But that's the scrawny kid after 12 weeks of working out, right? She looks different, right? She was intentional. She said something. Hey, I can't. You can't. I can't. How you talking like that around me? That's not gonna work. There's kids around. Like, come on, man. Like, let's step this thing up. That wasn't necessarily a spiritual conversation, but look what it did, right? You talk about planting a seed, Root, right? You plant the seed and something sprung. It's kind of hard for you not to tell somebody. It's kind of hard not to shoot your shot if they ask you, can we have a Bible study, right? We out of our comfort zone now, right? Because there's only one answer to that. Yes, we can, right? You can't say, well, the thing is, I'm not really that good at that. We got somebody to do that. Let me No. The answer is yes. We'll figure out everything else later. right? But the answer is absolutely we can have a Bible study. And so what I'm saying to you is, if we just tweak how we go about our day, you'll start getting those questions, right? Now you don't got to roll down the window and shout at people at the light. Like, people are actually coming to you asking, why do you move like that? There's something different about you. Come on, man, if you bold enough to ask me that, I've got to be bold enough to tell you what's different. Okay? Goomer, yes, sir.
We have to think about our faith and our life as a Christian as a partnership that we have with God. God has made us partners in His work. The Bible says some people, they plant the seed, some other
Water.
God is the one that causes the increase.
That's right.
God is the one that reaps the benefits. And we need to use that as a motivator to go out there and do our part.
Right.
We might not be good planting a seed, but it's like you said, if we go to the supermarket and tell somebody, oh, this bread is great, or if we pass by a house that is burning, and we don't tell the person, hey, your house is burning, we have to take it as a matter of emergency.
That's right. That's right. And it does it. It leads seamlessly into the next step, which is we'll start it next week. But the next step is walking in love, right? Like, at some point, man, you just gotta love people enough to tell them. Like, how selfish and unloving can we be, right? To know what we know, to have what we have, and keep it to yourself. Like, after a while, come on, man. Like, that's, right? Like, you know, not that any of you would do this, but like, for instance, you know, there are people in the world that like play the Powerball, right? Are you telling me that if you won the Powerball, if you won $450 million, are you telling me you wouldn't share that with any? There's nobody you know. There's nobody you know that you'd share any of that with. You just walk around with it, with $450 million in your pocket. No, you tell everybody, right? Not everybody that you got the money. Don't do that. But what I'm saying is that if I win $450 million and I come in here on Sunday and I find out that Michael Coker, his life would just be a lot better if he could get this particular treatment, and that treatment costs $30,000 that he doesn't have, guess what Michael Coker now has? He's got that $30,000. Come on, right? Like, if I come here on Sunday and find out that Billy wants to start a business and he just needs this to do it and it costs man, come on, man, he got that $40,000 because that's my brother and I got it. What am I gonna do with it? I'm just suggesting. He's been trying to get me to put a turbo kit on my car ever since I got it. But I probably would get that. I would do that. What I'm saying is that brothers and sisters, you've won the Powerball. You have it. You have been given an endless supply of love, mercy, and grace. I think we just have to see it that way, and we'll share it. I can't believe there's anybody in here that would win $450 million and let my wife and I lose our house. I just don't believe you'd do that. I believe you'd help us, right? I just believe you would. And that's where we are. We just need to help some people. Billy, I got Ruth first, and I'm coming to you. Mm-hmm.
The problem with you winning that kind of money, you know how long the line would be to get to you?
Long, yeah.
But I'm gonna go back.
Hey, but I got time. I ain't going to work. got all the time in the world. Right?
Fighting to see, you know, only men can count the seeds in an apple, but only God can count the apple.
That's right. That is so eerie, because I was going to say that when you was here last time. That's right. That's right. And so that's it. If you open an apple, right, you know exactly how many seeds were in that apple. But if you take those seeds and plant them, right, you could have an orchard, right? Billy, I'm coming. Go ahead, brother. Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. And I've gotta be grateful enough. I've got to be grateful enough to tell. I've got to be. There's no way I don't tell people every chance I get the way my mother loved me, and how I know she loved me, and how much I miss her, and how everything I do for her. Man, like if I feel that way about her, right? I got her. Like I got her. Right? She gave me life, but she didn't have to give her life to do it. Now she would have, but she didn't. Right? And so that's absolutely right. Yes, Anya, I see your hand. Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. And if you think about, I mean, look how precious it is that they gave it to you, but then think of how that's manifested itself in your life. You gave it to your children. Like that person didn't just bless you. That person changed the trajectory of your life forever, because you gave the gospel to your kids, and they're going to give it to their kids. And they're going to give it to their kids. And it was one unselfish act by somebody who saw you and saw something in you that said, she needs this. And it just keeps spinning and spinning. And you have no control over it. That's the beauty of it, right? Christ and 12 dudes changed the world. Like it's more than 12 of us in here, right? Right, and the 12 he picked, I don't know if I'd have picked them 12. But look at what they did. Right, there's 3,000 here, it's 5,000 over here, it's 3,000. I mean, they changed the course of history because they heard it, they believed it enough to tell somebody else about it. It's a powerful, powerful, but really simple concept. Yes, Ms. Carroll?
If we see it, you know, you can be a great preacher one day.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a great elder one day, a great deacon one day. And they may walk a different way.
That's right.
They hear that.
That's right. Absolutely. Every kid you meet, right? And even if they don't ever get any of those titles, they could be the greatest soul winner in the history of the world, right? Like I remember growing up hearing about a preacher named Marshall Keeble. And the stories they told about Marshall Keeble was Marshall Keeble baptized hundreds of thousands. Like, man, how do you get those kind of numbers, right? And so you can win souls. You can baptize your whole class, baptize your whole grade, baptize your whole school. Like you can be, right, the greatest soul winner for Jesus that's ever lived. Just who you are right now. You don't have to, and that is, it's a confidence we have to give and instill in our children early. Okay? All right, that's the bell, so we're going to be obedient. We'll start next week on step number 3, which is walking in love. Thank you so much for your time and attention and comments.